Hello, hello, hello. I think we are up and running. Hello, everyone. Victor, hello. PK, hello. See if we can get this up and running. You responded with Mr. Bean telling me I'm late. I arrived precisely when I meant to. You can hear and see me. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Hello, Isadora. Okay, so last time we figured out that we wanted to mess around in the second season. It's not as good as I'd hoped. I'll be perfectly honest, but that is because we're missing a few parts. Just double check where we're at in terms of, making the car a little bit better. Looks like we are missing the underfloor for car 2, rather car 1, rear wing and front wing. So we still have a little bit of work ahead of us, but nothing too serious here. Am I in the right season? Yes. I'm just used to having a new car by now. Any chance of a new livery, or am I doing the RP copy paste tactic? We could design a new livery to start off the stream. Honestly, that would probably be a good idea. Hello, Hamburger. Hello, Lacey. Hello, Edster. Damien, welcome. I started playing after PS5 patch. Yeah, the consoles had a patch today. So they're now caught up to the PC version. Hello, Alex. Hello, Jonathan. So, Jonathan, the sponsor engagement is actually accurate. I don't have the sponsor-like overview in front of me here. But the way that this works, the engagement that you get, it also takes into account the mandatory objectives. So, let's see, I do have a fresh save that we can spoil a little bit here. Let's use the Mercedes save just to show this. So the way that the sponsorships work, because there's a lot of people are saying they are, you're getting the wrong amount of money. You're not actually getting the wrong amount of money. What they are doing is just not showing you the correct number to begin with. And I'm just going to jump to the end of this season here to kind of showcase that. Because it is a... With a game that has this many bugs, I'm afraid that the devs might get that one wrong. And mess with the money, which actually is at a decent place right now, I'd say. Never fear, the floof is here. Welcome. How's the experience post-patch? Don't know. Still the same for me. Chummy little community? It's nice to have a chummy little community. Well, actually, that number would have been better to show it off, but I clicked too quick. So let's just get into the new season, just so I can do the sponsor negotiating thingy. And since we're just messing around with this one, we don't care. You can't race in the correct championship, so you're not actually an option. There we go, Hauge. You're going to have to replace Hamilton, and we are just going to give you all the money in the world. Because I'm just going to show a thing with the sponsorships here. Like so. The AI right now, my challenge could be interesting. You're not wrong. It could actually be fairly interesting to have a look at it, because you'd be able to win it in 3 seasons at the most. Yeah, as I was going to say here, the way that the sponsor negotiation works, the reason why you think you're getting less money than you're supposed to, is that if I put together a package here, and it has engagement like this one, Hot Lap Experience. That adds 11.6 million to my engagement. But the way that the engagements work right now is that anything that has the little contract symbol, in this case Hot Lap Experience, the full 11.6 million gets paid out through that mandatory activity. But the sponsorships themselves will take this number split on 8 sessions, which means that although although basically because of the fact, I'm explaining this very poorly right now, because these 11.6 million out of 40 is actually tied up in the Hot Lap Experience, you actually only have 30 million of engagement, but the game for some reason still uses the full number to calculate that. So when I set up a sponsor plan now, it is going to tell me that, oh, you basically, I'm going to get the, let's just go ahead and actually showcase it a little bit more in depth. So we're not going to pick up any more engagement. We're just going to do this one, which brings us up to 29 million. And we just want to get the sponsor plan review in 53 days, which is going to suck, so that's going to take a while. But basically, the way that it works is that it takes into account everything, including mandatory objectives. So while it says that you are basically getting half what you are supposed to, when in our case, a third of our engagement is tied up into a mandatory objective, we'll just get 2/3 of what we're supposed to if we get maximum engagement, if that makes sense. And it's just a problem of how... Again, it's just a problem of where the game finds the numbers. It just takes the full engagement amount, even though some of it is tied up into mandatory. That means that you are actually getting as much as you should. At least I've been getting when I've done the calculations. So it's just, again, numbers being weighed in this game, but you are actually getting as much as you're supposed to. So it's a bit of a silly one, I'll be honest. Like a Norwegian passport weekend, a classic Chris man ever live. You probably have one of the best social security systems now. Just need the practice bug to be fixed? Yeah, I would agree with that. In my cat, the sponsor package only had 5 options for 5 slots. Is it normal? It's dependent on your marketability, Sadora. So one of the easy things to do to boost your sponsor money in your first season of Create a Team is to move your points of operations buildings over to hospitality area, since it has the highest boost to your marketability. Which save am I currently dodging, BKK? Managed to win with the worst everything. Hello, Kingslayer. Yeah, that's the thing, Jonathan. It'll show you like the number is 4 million, and then it'll give you like, say, 2.18. It's because half of your total engagement is tied up in mandatory contracts, but even so, the game is still using the number as if they should be, tied up in the regular engagement. So it just gives you the wrong indication, I guess you could say, which is, frustrating because you think you're getting less, but reality of the situation, you aren't necessarily doing that. So, for instance, let's say that you're getting to 2.2 million, or what are you getting paid out? Yeah, basically, we are going to do a sponsor. We're going to do a sponsor plan at some point during this stream. So once we get there, I can slow down a little bit and explain it on that screen. So I'll try and remember, Jonathan. If I don't, someone will probably remind me, because my short-term memory is terrible. Just working with the Discord used to make the grid from hell, and then Nero has to get kicked to win ETC. Well, winning the World Championship with kick is doable in the first season if you have some luck. You need to destabilize Red Bull somehow. I suggested poaching their staff, but apparently that wasn't acceptable. Hello, my ride, my pride. I'm glad the videos are helpful.
Well,
Per mandatory is always 1.16 mil. Do you remember how much the the sponsor you signed at the start of the season, Jonathan, was total in terms of engagement? Because there are some engagement goals that, again, like the one that I showed you, that pay out in tens of millions. That severely skews the numbers. Actually, I don't know if you saw that when I was switching saves, BKK, but I'm currently experimenting with that initial quest you gave me, which was to see if we could get mastery to maximum overall. So I'm already messing around with something. Maybe not exactly what was requested, but fun enough. How can we make this work? Not perfect, but it will get the job done. And for this one, like this, maybe. Again, I don't have the numbers in my head, like the perfect setup ones, so we're just trying our way forwards here. I get scanned by the team. I pay the extra mil for extra development event and did get any extra engineers or development slots. So Floof, if you have anything but maximum, like, durability, if you will, on the Science Center, if you have any debuffs running from your sponsors, you're not going to be getting the extra benefit. So that event might need a little bit of rework in this year's game, because now there's actually a second way to kind of scam yourself because of the way things work. But yeah, we were supposed to redesign delivery. We'll do that at 1.2. Did I get your own livery for your car? No, I did not get my own livery, I assume. It is what you're asking. You were super unlucky with how good Max is. The thing is, though, when we start snatching points, Max already is enthusiastic. We are basically just sabotaging the other teams to make Max even more powerful. So you need to unsettle Red Bull in a huge way fairly early on to have a chance with the Sauber VDC. Still searching for the Deadpool livery. But yeah, I am currently very worried about anyone doing a save boss the second season, because second season is regulation change season, so that is when things are going to get fairly interesting. How do I learn all this so quickly? You're like a talking manager, Vicky. I don't know. I have a lot of experience from previous games. Can apply that, see if things work kind of in the same manner. And then it's just testing, doing a couple of, for the sponsor thing, I basically just ran a couple of different sponsor deals, and the numbers matched up. They made sense, so I assume that is what is happening. But for the most part, this game isn't necessarily very difficult once you just get to the nitty-gritty of it. It can get very overwhelming if you're new, because there's so many, so many sliders that do things. But let's face it, there's just really four or five sliders that matter. And once you understand that, it makes the game a lot easier. I want to see what changes happen in 2026 in this, yeah. What's my opinion on the mentality system? It's probably a little bit too powerful at the moment. Might need a little bit of fine-tuning. Would also love it if it made sense. Like, you could get a little bit of an estimate what you can expect in terms of mentality from your drivers and staff before you sign them, and see that everyone hates each other. Would be nice. But yeah, the mentality at the moment is giving the teams that are already doing well way too much of a boost, way too much of a buff, while taking any team that is performing poorly and making them perform even worse. So on that sense, the mentality system in its current form is a little bit, I guess disappointing is the right word, maybe. But yeah, mentality needs a little bit of tweaking. -50 to all. The thing is, Netquest, the AI isn't really researching at the moment. They only research in basically December. So as long as you get, you know, more than 4 research projects done, you're going to be ahead of the AI. Guaranteed. I'm too, but I'm happy with Red Bull throwing the constructors this year. Yeah, to be fair though, we just barely survived. That was kind of scary. Red Bull's throwing the constructors is weird, honestly. Like, I understand that the driver championship is the important one. But Red Bull at this point needs to be able to take points of the top teams for the driver championship with, you know, not only Verstappen. They need a more capable second driver. And if the rumor that Liberty has been pressuring Red Bull to keep Perez turns out to be true, I don't know what to say then. Mentality hasn't gotten any changes post-patch cast. How does tire preservation work? I can't tell what it's doing. Basically, it is cooling your brakes so your tires get less wear over the course of a stint. So having it at high levels, you can save some of your tire wear, basically make this number go down slower. So in that sense, it's quite important for your car. And it is something that, you know, has an effect. Generally though, as long as you keep it above 40, 50, and in the second season, 60 if you can, you'll be fine. It basically just helps with tire wear, kind of in the same way smoothness does. You're locked up on your outlap, that's not a big issue. Cook your tires a little bit. See if the boys improve. Been simming 3 seasons of Red Bull. We're going to a different team. Got a 2-4 at Monaco in a car fighting for P4 and constructors. That's not bad. Is that that's a 48-point season good? Nah, it's really bad. Really, really bad. Then don't you put on your own tinfoil hat? Tell us what you posted on Discord yesterday. It's just something that caught my eye that was kind of weird. That again mentioned the fact that someone like the source isn't reliable, but it's just a very interesting what if with Perez. Yeah. First quality 20 and 21st. That is kind of how it's gonna go. Like for your first 2-3 races, Isadora. Gonna be a rough start to the season if you do the creator team minimum. Have I tested yet to see if the other teams are developing more? The thing is, the other teams are still following kind of the old rules, if you will. So the way that the teams currently are developing is that they need, it's actually a requirement. They must be able to put 5 engineers on a project. So even now they can make everything, they need to have 5 engineers to start a project, which means that what's actually limiting the AI now in terms of a development perspective is actually the amount of engineers they have. So they need to upgrade their design center before they do more than just the 2 projects. And again, it's just a weird bug that doesn't make sense. They also just run balanced, they don't use any sliders. Everything is balanced. They just keep everything, you know, as is. And again, they don't research until the last couple of months of the season, which means that with the regulation change just being in the 2nd season, the AI is going to get completely destroyed at the end of this one, which we might try and speed through if we end up in a dominant position, just to see just how messed up that actually is, you know, from a gameplay perspective. What we do is this, and then we get in the piss a little bit early with Hauger. I think we do the same. Demon. Should be fairly simple. And also the AI is incredibly quick at race starts. Insanely quick at race starts. So there is something funky going on there too.
checks are being carried out by the teams, and it won't be long until we get
Midway through Season 1, P7 in the Constructors are scoring 6 points. Vishua scored 5. Honestly, just keep both.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
In the current edition of the game, you're gonna need something to slow you down a bit. And underdeveloped drivers is probably it, although the mentality system is going to allow you to kind of make them into monsters pretty quickly. What was the first result of Season 2? I don't remember, but we can probably figure it out. Standings. Let us see here. So, first result, 2 points and 6 points. So we got a 9th and a... what would that be? 7th? Unless I'm completely wrong. But yeah, not the best results. We are still missing some pieces on the cars. Apparently Mercedes has learned facing tech, as they just faced into the back of Behrman. And Magnussen has apparently kissed a wall somewhere.
Right, we're taking the second corner. The car makes contact. Now their confidence will have taken...
Performance Vineyard cheated a bit of silly 2 out of 5. Honestly, I wouldn't say that's cheating. Like, it's a single player game. Nothing you do is really straight up cheating. It's just play the game how you enjoyed. No one should judge you for that. Hi Baxi, when I do research next season, should I put sliders in the optimal way as you do the sign, or just max everything out? I say put the sliders to whatever is getting hit with the, you know, regulation change. Maybe with the exception of dirty air cornering. But other than that, you can follow, you know, for the most part, a focus on cornering, then top speed, and cooling on particularly your side pods and your, you know, your tire preservation for your suspension. Will work just fine. How would the AI actually determine which slider preset to use when they would develop accordingly, but also different from to team? The thing is, according to Mike, who does, you know, deep dive into the code and things, the AI had a new kind of, they had a newly designed way to figure out how they would do the signs, things like that. But currently that isn't working properly. It got them stuck in a feedback loop. So they tried to do something, I think, this year to make the AI more competitive, but unfortunately they failed miserably at doing it, which is very unfortunate. Behrman just got squeezed in the middle. But I think, again, I'm looking forward to seeing the game a couple of weeks, a month from now, because if they get that working, it does make the AI more competitive in terms of the way they design the cars, I would be incredibly happy. Is it me, or is the generally pissed off development plan surprisingly good? It seems to work pretty well most of the time. We'll drive to survive script. Why does now control F1? At this point, maybe. Full push on start does for me, then I go light a bit later, balance it out, but my tire preservation is 79%, so I don't... That's pretty high. Hey, it's Tsunoda this time in a wall. That is unfortunate. Would be cool if they had more emphasis on signing junior drivers. Yeah, honestly. The thing that is, don't know how to put it. The thing that is kind of unfortunate with the current situation, as we are falling still backwards. Confidence is still not in a good place. The thing that is kind of weird in particular is Haas in this game, because I've seen several seasons now where they've picked up under 70 rated drivers in the second year. I think Haas's financial situation is just absolutely you know, untenable to a point where they don't actually have money to pay for staff and drivers, I think. So we'll have to see how these two do this year. But it was the same pickup in one of my other saves. So it seems to be a pretty common Haas pickup. Frying the engine, it's fine. We have Mercedes engines, they can take this. I've been able to sim my season with Mercedes engine and still had 100% one to spare, just because I wanted to see if it was possible. So with Mercedes, we can take a little risks. We can fry the engine a little bit. It's actually not potentially a bad thing. But at this point, we have used a lot of fuel, so we can actually tune them down. You're not wrong about that. So one thing that's a bit concerning is that my scouts have been 0 out of 0 for almost the whole season. Tried upgrading the facility, but nope, still 0 out of 0. So apparently in NetQuest, if you send your scouts out on a STEM tour, they, you know, switch fields. They become science majors instead of scouts, so don't do that. It's a pretty terrible bug that's currently in the game. Are they waiting for Andretti to buy them? Who in particular has? At this point, I think it was Alpine who was looking to get sold. I never underfuel the cars. I haven't experimented much with it, honestly. I probably should at one point. But it's just one of those things that I keep on putting on the back burner because there's other things that I want to test before it. But what people are saying, and from what I've seen, it's probably something that would be worth experimenting with. I should probably put it a little bit higher on my priority list. Do I switch powertrains between practice and quality race? I haven't done that in 24. For Mercedes, you probably won't need to in 24. But I can see with Red Bull being kind of necessary because their powertrains lose power way earlier than, say, the Merc ones. But at the same time, there isn't... basically, the choice between switching powertrains or not... Oh, we catch Piastri there. The choice between switching powertrains between practice and quali is basically a choice between a little more performance in the race versus a higher degradation of your pit crew, as you are trading fatigue for your pit crew for a little bit more performance. And over the course of seasons, it's most likely going to come bite you in the ass. So unless you really need to switch components to get to, you know, to get to a position, better position than you initially were to get. Let's say that you need to do that to win the championship, then yeah, go for it. But other than that, I don't think there's a need to switch components this year for the most part. I'll still be doing an engine test at some point though. Piastri is definitely on a two-stopper here. It's gone onto a medium set of tires. That's an interesting option. And apparently, we reset the base strategy, but we have Behrman here to kind of show us what we're supposed to do. I think what we do now is actually push these tires a little bit. And then we head on to the hards, and we see if we can snatch a couple of points. So many people saying contract I totally broken the longer the save goes on. Yeah, as said, Jonathan, I don't think that's a bad idea. It is probably a good way of doing it with the underfueling. Signed Sebastian Montoya in FP1 of Imola, so he damaged the engine. Then in FP2, when Ollie was back in the car, crashed again, so I had to buy a new engine for Ollie. That one stung. Yeah, I can see that. That is going to be extremely costly, and it's something that you need to kind of... That's also another reason why you need to take it a little bit slow in the first season. I don't know if this is the first or second one, but it's just general advice. You have so little money in the first season that any sort of crash where you have to buy a new engine is basically you guaranteeing you are going to hit the cost cap. which is a tad unfortunate. Which engines were you using for that, Floof? We're actually fairly slow. Definitely need a couple of upgrades on this car. I think the plan is going to be that we run the hards on light if we can get away with it temperature-wise. And we're going to get Bearman in at the end of this lap. And we might double stack here. Depends on how far Hauger ends up behind. Because we might explode the tires at this rate. So yeah, let's double stack. Hauger is losing a lot of time. Let's see if we have a pit stop error that makes this a terrible idea or not. A little bit of a hold up there. But should save him more time than doing another lap on those wasted softs. And he does come out in a decent window still. Fresh air is always nice. We're gonna keep them standard, get them up to temp a little bit quicker, and then we'll try and tune them down once they're at temperature. Rebel engines, okay. I was just asking because the fuel efficiency is very different from a Mercedes to a. Hey, we have a puncture and a crash. The fuel efficiency is very different from a Mercedes engine to a Renault, for example, so that probably also plays a little bit of a part.
And they'll have to pick themselves up after that.
Luckily for him, though, the pit lane is right there. I'll see if he actually drives into it or if he does another lap. He did get himself into the pit, so he's good. First season make for me result in everything broken: 2 extra engines, an extra ERS, 2 transmissions. How did you not... Like, did you survive? Did you get fired for being in death? What happened? Gasly in the kick is giving us a little bit of a fight here. That's unacceptable. Currently in Baku, and it's not hurt as much as I thought. But still meant I could manufacture some of the upgrades I had. That is painful. Williams walk and ready from joining, yet they use Excel when they develop their car. The Excel wind tunnel. Hauger is getting bullied by Gasly, which is not a good sign. In Arrow, I'm doing a Merc save and I've signed signs for the next season. Is the right call? I'd say it's a good call. Like his contract is running out. It's a cheap option. He is highly rated. He should perform well. So yeah, I'd say that's a decent pickup right there. Another yellow flag. What has happened this time? Apparently we overtook Gasly, and that caused a red flag. Yes, there with the lockup.
Now this, I think, was at turn 13. Well, you can see the lockup. Now they did leave it very late.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that like this year and last year's Merc just falls apart. Like that's genuinely how it feels like, and it's kind of insane. How and Gasly double. Well, I run out of money with Porsche and Lawson, so you want my team career with min-max everything. If you do what I did and just make one design, basically 2 designs for whatever you use CFD on, you should be fine. So far, no one has stolen my staff, weirdly enough. I'm pretty sure it's gone the other way around. So the AI, the rules for stealing drivers and staff seems to be that they only do it if they're on their last year of the contract. I've yet to actually personally witness any staff kind of being poached that wasn't on their last year of their contract. And interestingly enough, that seems to be the case why some teams end up with terrible staff. They seem to not like, or rather want, to renew the good staff that they have. Well, that's unfortunate. They seem to not want to renew the good staff they have, and instead try and poach from other teams, starting with the staff that has kind of the highest rating, with a contract that is running out. And that is kind of weird, but it seems to kind of also be the same to some degree with the driver contracts, but particularly with the staff, that just seems to be the case. Arcane Season 2 is performing very poorly in the grid. Have you not got a few upgrades yet? No. We're still lacking a bunch of the upgrades, so that is slowing us down a little bit. I was being a little bit too careful at this last stream in terms of the upgrades. That has now come back to bite us in the ass. That is why we are incredibly slow at the moment. What development plan should Antonelli be on? Probably pace until he reaches the 90s and then switch it up to the action's accuracy. I'm gonna make some popcorn. Yeah, Merc, there has to be someone who severely dislikes Mercedes at Frontier, because there's no way they get this badly shafted both years. But in race pace short, then balance as he got greater cornering. Yeah, that works. Am I explaining? I've done 5 season contracts on everything for my team now. Yeah, again, it just seems like they don't want to poach anyone that isn't in the last year of their contract, and basically that gives you you can make poaching just not happen by when the year they enter the final year of the contract, you just offer them, you know, a new 5-year contract. Problem solved. P11, P12 with China season 1 still waiting 5 points. That's a good start though. A new team, when should I start working on research while trying to remain under cap? You can probably do it in October, Brian. The only thing is, I would really recommend you use CFD time when you can, because CFD time is very, very powerful. Use it on research whatever is getting hit by regulations, but you won't have enough money to do more than like 8, maybe tops research projects. It's perfectly fine to start in October, November your first year, because you are severely money limited in that initial first year. He's 86 rated and still driving F2. The Racing Bulls, Beef Merc in season 2. Yeah. I think at this point we are going to just be happy if we get a couple of points. We could get potentially Norris here with Behrman. And we are getting to the point now where we are still running way slower than top teams. But we're taking care of our tires, so we should be able to get back towards the end. And with 10 laps remaining, we're getting to the point now where we can run full attack. We lose about 5 to 6%. So I think we wait 2 more laps, then we're going to start pushing, start hunting down some of the cars in front. As after for Flush at 61, 796 rated Antonelli. Yeah, they do some funny things, the AI. Virtual safety car causes us some problems. At Stroll has strolled into the wall.
And here we've got a yellow flag.
Where have I seen this before? I'm sorry for laughing, but like Stroll angry radios they're never not entertaining, I guess you could say. Stroll in a wall, very realistic. I might be wrong, but I think that is the wall that he crashed in reality. Was it this year or last? But yeah. Scouting team recommended Flush as a great talent. Is it worth spending on a good head of aerodynamics or technical chief? Not sure what the stats actually do R&D. So basically the way that the technical chief or the head of aerodynamics, I'll go over it after the race here. But in short terms, every 20 points they have in the stat is a 1% boost for that stat on a part. So 100 overall, you know, technical chief or aerodynamicist would be able to give you a 5% boost on every single aspect of every part. So if you get a couple of good ones, they can actually be quite helpful, making your car a lot better. And the thing is, that is applied after any other buffs. So again, very nice to have. Yuki has some pretty good radio message as well. Yeah. The scouts want me to sign Giovinazzi. Yeah, the scouts seem to be not the best, let's put it like that. The reason I think is because the scouts take the financials as a consideration. So why would you overtake into the final corner so you can get re-overtaken, Behrman? I really wish I could tell you to race cleverly. I think the scouts take financial situation into the account when they make a decision. So as you can imagine, free transfers that you can pick up for nothing is going to be a great talent because financially they don't cost you anything. That's what makes sense to me, at least. Helge is 93 in season 4 for me. That's not bad. That's great growth. Yeah, that's what I thought I remembered, Hamburg. Okay, now we push. Now we can actually create a gap to Norris here. Because he is actually holding us up a little bit. But yeah, you can kind of see just how powerful the EOS is. We'll be getting a little bit of a closer view this lap. If he actually ends up using any energy. Now, Gio isn't that bad, but like saying he's a great talent. Like you can say that he has, you know, good skill, great skill even if you want for Formula 1, but saying that he's a great talent just makes it sound a little bit weird to me, personally. We're actually struggling to run away from Norris. That is kind of disappointing. To be fair, Norris is in a McLaren, so I guess it makes sense. And Haugen is lacking the new underfloor, so makes sense that he's slow. Hi, you really helped me with your tips in 23, and I'm very grateful. I made Alpine World Champion in Season 1, and without you I can't do that. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Good job though in getting Alpine to the championship. I have a bug where they're offering a contract by FPS is fine if it's for a car, but as soon as I switch to affiliate, it drops to 10 FPS. I haven't seen that bug personally, but I've heard a lot of people say it, so I don't think there's anything in particular you can do to, you know, fight it. Just gonna have to try and make the best out of it. Two Alpine fans in the chat. Just got the option to sponsor Porsche even though it's already in car 1. Try and do that, Jake. Because people have been struggling to figure out exactly what the sponsoring does. And it might just be a mentality boost. It might just be a, you know, small buff in stats. Kind of hard to judge. But make a save game first so you don't, you know, brick your game with another one of the weird bugs they have. Okay, we might get Porsche for 8th here. Should be acceptable. But yeah, Jeddah, not really much you can do in terms of time strategy, unfortunately. And it's just so easy to get stuck fighting over and over again. Which makes things even a little bit more infuriating. Now also keep in mind, this is just a general tip that you want to be plus 0.1 kg just to be on the safe side. Because even if this says you are within the delta, basically nothing, it still means you can run out of fuel. And if you do, it would be kind of embarrassing. The Porsche, we should be safe from Porsche. You can't really do much with this old softs. So we'll save energy and push on the final lap. Is Antonelli the only driver that has the max development rate prompt? I wouldn't think so. Since they've also tied development now to mentality. So if you find an enthusiastic youngling, you can probably find more than just Antonelli who has max. I'm 2 kilometers an hour as fast as Red Bull in 26. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Bit break. Who do I think the other driver for Audi is going to be? Honestly, at this point, I have no clue. But it would be funny if it was Paris. Then Blazed? Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. To be fair, we should probably go affiliates poaching the second season. We end up 8th, which is not great, but also not terrible. Let's say we're basically just messing around a little bit.
As always, there will be lots to talk about.
And we were going to talk about a couple of things after the race. If anyone can enlighten me, I would be grateful. They have a Germans. I think it will be a non-German. Okay, time to get a little bit of a buff here from the front wing. Take a couple of those. And we do have CFD time. I think we just invested into the front wing. It seems to be the best option. So we're going to go ahead and make another front wing. Another set, if you will. And here's the thing. Because the cost cap is more on our side this second year, if you will, can actually go ahead and rush this. It's going to cost a little bit of money, but getting the wing faster would be good. So we're going to go ahead and do that investment. And we'll be getting the rear wing 2 tomorrow. Okay, so let's see here. Looking at in terms of parts. I think we get started on a secondary chassis. And we also had a suspension failure. Hey, we solved the engineered driver tension issue, which is nice. But yeah, honestly, don't really need to do much more than just a couple of designs here. I probably should have not spent CFD time on the front wing. Now that I secondhand embarrassing myself because we want to use that for research, but I've done it. It is what it is. We will live with that failure of mine. And it should make us a little bit more competitive this year, so it's not completely bad. But it's not also not great. Let's put it like that. Next to chill streams, I've been simming through my Rebel 7 just enjoy myself listening to the stream. I'm glad you enjoy. Starting my third season AI, I'm miles behind my car. They are 2.2 to 4 seconds off pace because they haven't researched enough. Yeah, the AI in the current edition only researched the last month or last month and a half of the season. So in the 25 season, you kind of have to not research at all if you want to remain on par with the AI. But I ever use Intense, is it worth it for the expertise skin? So the way Intense works, Tic Tac, is that it costs 3 times as much, but you only get 1.5 times the gains. Particularly when you're very low, like you're starting out with very, very bad parts, it can be worth it, just to get that initial boost. But generally, I don't do it because, again, it's just not worth the cost. And particularly in your first season of Creative Team, you have so little money anyways, that doing it just doesn't make sense. If that makes sense. Best young driver who still doesn't have a seat next year? That is a good question. Who are actually... I don't follow F2 too closely, and F3 for that matter, so... I don't know. Okay, we're gonna go ahead here and put in some upgrades on both cars. And I forgot to check just how we are matching up against the rest, but we'll do that probably after the race. Okay, so everything is in order. We have all of our parts. Let's get to qualifying. See how we do that. Hello, Maverick.
Welcome everyone to qualifying. This
I never new to the game, enjoying so far, getting good tips from you. I'm glad you enjoy Pratik. If it tends 1.5 times expertise, what does research provide? Research provides it at the same way design does, but research also, like for research, the expertise drop that applies for the regulation changes has already happened for research. So the lower your expertise, the bigger the gains. So if you have a 30% loss in, say, low speed cornering, you're going to be getting far more gains with research, getting back up to level you were, rather than making new designs. So research is basically for recovering lost expertise from regulation changes, but you can also use it to just develop next year's card. There's nothing wrong with doing that. So there's really no wrong time to research, I guess is the best way I can put it. See if we can figure this out. I think this should be decent. Let's see if we are a little bit quicker with new rear wings and front wings, as well as an underfloor for Hauger. Patch seems to apply to all save, yes, Alfredo. Just want to ask you how to properly manage ERS during a race. Basically, I generally don't manage it super hard. I generally just save it, use it at the beginning of the race to keep up. Then we save some, and then we just use it to get overtakes done if we get stuck by another cars, or we struggle to break free of the DRS gap, because again, fighting with the car behind can cost you a huge amount of time, so we kind of want to try and avoid that. It seems like a terrible time for both of my boys. I need to send him out again in Q1. At least Behrman. Yeah, we're gonna send Behrman out again just to be on the safe side. I think, or maybe we're good. Let's just send him out once more, just to be on the safe side. it should be able to improve. It's a shame that we're wasting a bit of tire, but it is how it is. Okay, maybe I was a little bit too harsh with our first how good time here. See you later, Isadora. Bye bye. I'm practicing for trying to beat my friend. See, one engineer per research project, that's the most efficient way of researching. Yes. It should still be the most efficient way to spend your money on research. Does your pit position change after your base placement? Yes. They have finally added that aspect that now your pit position changes depending on where you finished the season before. They've actually added that, BK. Constantly struggling for money in season 1. What tips can you give me? Make one design for each part and then just do research, honestly. Do you think we'll be able to create our own sponsors for creative team? You could probably mod something in, to be fair. I was lied to. I don't think you will necessarily lie to, but yeah. As I can see, this is our current pitbox, BKK. If you go back to one of my season 1 streams and have a look, I believe we're pretty much at the end here. All the way at the end. We have Red Bull, Stab Ferrari, McLaren, Aston, Mercedes, us, RB. So it does match the results from last year. But yeah, it's one of those like weird things that you don't expect them to fix when they have other bugs that probably should take higher priority. But yeah, it's it is in the game this year, so don't worry about it, BK. No, we finished 6th, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we finished 6th, like best of the rest. Deceived hoodwink bamboozle. No, we didn't just do... Well, we did actually less than that. We did 2 designs for the underfloor, front wing, and rear wing, I believe. Did we do suspension? I don't remember. But how did I design in the first season? I think I did it wrong in this save, to be honest. But yeah, you don't need to do too many. You're actually fine doing just one design. CFD on the underfloor, so you need 2. CFD on the front wing, so you need 2. And that's generally going to be enough to bring you up to 6th with most drivers and teams. Probably should send Bearman out again here, although he ended up behind the Mercedes. Just need to do that in case Leclerc also improves. There's a couple of potential issues there with a couple of the drivers they improving could put Bearman at risk. And at least we are faster than Porsche. We could potentially overtake him here, so yeah. Purple Sector 2. Okay, we're at least through to Q3. Hello, Ninkit. Is it a good thing to avoid high-risk curves on during the race? You'll be able to avoid, damage to the car. But unless any of these 3 are hitting, like, the yellow, I don't think there's any point to keeping it on. Like, the risk will be... Risk of damage will be increased, but not enough where it would affect you massively, so... I say you are perfectly fine with leaving it off. It's going to cost you 2-3 tenths a lap. Grass Jake. How many CFD periods do we get? You get 6 a year. Why am I struggling so much in season 2? Just because the design of the car is slow. Like, we spent a little bit too much time making the parts. Drivers aren't the best. I don't think we're necessarily struggling at this point. I'm not too worried, BKK yet, but probably still gonna not be getting too many wins. I still looked at this as a development season. Hey, we're going to take advantage of a mostly clear track here and send the boys out again. Okay. Science seems to be the faster Red Bull right now. See if we can improve with Leclerc. Kind of compromising us a little bit. Purple from Hauger. Yellow, Sector 3, that's disappointing. Yellow Sector 3 there for Behrman too. That is really, really disappointing. Should send them out like 30 seconds faster, than we could have done another run. But we're getting there. 4th and 7th, which is a shame for Behrman because he should be faster than Hauger. So yeah, another good quality in Australia for him. Where is Russell? We'll take a look at where Russell is once we get into the race, but I'm pretty sure he still is where he was supposed to be. See if we can mess around with this, make it a little bit faster. So we could do this, go very aggressive. Or we could take more care of our tires and do something like this. But honestly, I'm tempted to just go full on attack here. Gamble. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to do here in Australia. And this also saves us some tires in case we need to go onto, softs earlier than estimated. So yeah, let's give this a go. Should build some confidence, which should help with pace, which is, again, something that our drives are currently lacking a little bit. Let's see what we can do here. And I'm just also going to double check that it didn't reset the strategy.
Welcome back, everyone. Get ready for the Australian Grand Prix.
I once again forgot to go back and have a look at the design. That is my mistake. A bit of a poor start here, which is honestly part of the course for our boys. Sonoda seems to have had an incident in turn 1, turn 2. Slow Aston. So Russell is in Alpine. That's where he ended up. How many safety periods do I suggest we use on research? Probably 3, and then as many as you can in the second season. Also, which part should we spend safety on and thus develop twice? I'd say underfloor, rear wing, front wing would be good bets. If you're using 2 periods, just do underfloor and front wing because you get an insane amount of low and low speed cornering on the front. And basically also kind of do the same with research. If you have 4 research periods with CFD, underfloor, front wing, rear wing, suspension, should be a good bet. How many tires do I use every quality session? I try and limit myself to as few softs as possible. So in this last session, we ended up saving 3 softs for the race, which is going to give us some freedom when it comes to strategy for this race in case there are incidents happening, which could benefit us quite a bit if we're lucky. I like the channel having very little money this year's game, but I never feel like I have enough money to upgrade facilities. I do agree with that, but again, it's basically now facilities has now become more of a choice between should I upgrade the car or should I upgrade my buildings, which it never was in the other games. So I do kind of like it that money is more valuable. Why do we put overtake, aggression low, and rarely defend? So the reason why I put these on is because they lower the chance of our drivers having spin, lockups, and collisions. So basically, by keeping these on for the whole season, we can probably avoid 2 or 3 crashes per driver, and generally also avoid one really, really bad crash. That would probably cost a decent chunk of money to fix, so it's basically just a money-saving measure. And I don't really see the drivers suffer too much as a result in terms of their capabilities to do overtakes, to do defend. So that is why we do that. Who's Begon has? Begovic? Getha? Or Gotha? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Basically has picked up 2 under 70 rated drivers for fun. To bankrupt themselves even further. Auge is just falling backwards massively here. Emin is at least somewhat keeping up. Although he too is kind of a threat. But yeah, Hauge, look at the lap times there. He was 4 seconds slower than his teammate on that last lap. Did I not give him the his confidence base too? His confidence is through the floor. Like again, this is kind of just weird that sometimes they'll just have incredibly bad races. Like they will fall down like a rock and just do laps that are 3 seconds slower. I guess it's because they keep on getting pushed like off the track like this. Kind of see it there. And he also picked up underfloor damage, so yeah. Maybe we just need to tell him to be a little bit more aggressive on defense. In this game, I've kind of considered that, keeping them on neutral. And it might actually be that we need to do that, because right now he's just getting bullied down the order. Hello, Sheriff. When will the bugs be fixed on F1 Manager 24? I don't know. I don't really have much to do with devs, if anything at all, so yeah, I don't know. Guess what we could do here is put Hauge on alternate strategy, get him in for the hards, do 2 sets of softs. See if we can recover that mentality somewhat and work from there. Because right now we are in trouble. We're just getting overtaken by everyone. Femino is doing good. He's still running with the top boys here. Although he does have a gaggle of cars behind him. Femino is still in a good spot here. I think for Hauge, the best thing we can do is actually get him in, put him on the hard tire. Switch up the strategy a little bit and see if that helps with getting that confidence back. Sorry, my crystal ball is broken at the moment. Aggression probably impacts the severity of the crashes rather than how many times they occur. I'm pretty sure they impact also how many times they occur, because again, it's just a lower risk of, you know, everything crash related, if you will. So if you consider that, it should help with avoiding crashes as a whole, and also, you know, just generally not destroying the car when they occur. So I think it's going to be worth it. We're putting Hauge on the pair strategy here. We'll see if that works. But yeah, it's just generally, like I've said, it just seems like you get so many less crashes. You spend so much less money on new parts. And in my eyes, it is definitely worth it. But again, different opinions. In 23, it wasn't a problem doing this. But I could see in this game, with the AI being so aggressive at pushing you off track, particularly in Australia, that you might just need to keep them on neutral to, you know, force the inner defensive line, if you will. What rank on the grid where I say my car is right now? Probably 4th best, maybe? We'll see after the race, but it's probably 4th best, and overall we're probably 5th best due to the fact that, well, we are fighting Sainz, Verstappen, Norris, Piastri, getting absolutely squished there by the Ferrari boys. But yeah, Behrman is also getting to a point now where he needs to pit. And degradation has been a little bit higher here than we anticipated, so that is also a problem that we need to deal with. It is pretty hot. Yeah, I think we'll put him on neutral for now. And we'll see if that helps with him getting pushed off the track. But we aren't too far off the lead, 4.3 seconds, so Behrman still has a good chance there. Let's see if Hauger can convert this into anything. Will I be making a video just dedicated on my team development guide? Probably once they fix all the patches, I'll be making a new version of that guide, yes. I have one currently, basically on how to develop and survive in your first year. But that's probably going to get, again, revised once we have functioning AI development, I guess you could say. Not the worst window to come out in here, too. A couple of seconds behind Russell. That's scary. Yeah, we'll have to see how well these hard hires hold up, and if they don't hold up at all, looks like they're doing fine for now. We might just need to go add an extra stint to the plan. We don't know when patches are coming, G7. They haven't said anything on when we can expect the next one. Every time I look at how your race is going, how it's going nowhere. Well, he lost all of his confidence early on by getting immediately overtaken, so his driving stats are pretty poor right now. Add to that he has some underfloor damage, and he's going to be very, very slow. So I think we'd be happy if we get him back in the points, but even that's going to be a little bit difficult. For Behrman now, we just need to clear Russell. Fastest way possible, but he's definitely driving defensively, so we might use a little bit of energy on the straight now to clear him, as Leclerc has a little bit of a pit stop issue, but he's definitely going to come out ahead of us. So yeah, Russell has done actually the job here of holding us up, both for Leclerc and Piastri, which is unfortunate, but it is how it is sometimes. Can't win them all. Technical staff info on the guide. What exactly are you looking for, Noble, for the staff? My theory is to be aggressive with higher rated drivers or ones that have good control. The game still makes incidents randomly no matter the status effects. Wait, go back. Did I just check current stats? Yeah. If you go on your driver screen here, click here. Click this little information key up here. You can hover over your driver confidence and it'll tell you how your driver's confidence is currently affecting him. So as you can see, we have very low confidence. It increases the chance of incident drastically, which is kind of why we want to keep low and rarely defend on. Because again, lowering that chance of incident. If you say run full attack now with neutral, you are very likely to just bin it into the closest car that you find within the next 20 or so laps. It's one of the main reasons why low rated teams just keep on crashing at the back of the grid. Now also here, as you can see, we don't have the best pace right now. We're about 80 average, and we're fighting cars ahead. Well, not really ahead, but like the top 8 cars, if you will. Probably all have some better mentality that keeps their stats around 90 to 95 pace-wise, I'd say. As you can imagine, that does have an effect on... That does have an effect on your drivers. Again, our car isn't the supremely best this year. They have better drivers that most likely have better mentalities and better stats. So as a result, we are going to suffer quite a bit, even though we are still kind of fast. Basically, the difficulty of getting 6th is way easier than the difficulty of, you know, overtaking the Red Bulls, for instance. It'd be great if generated stock drivers have their own radio chat. honestly, again, my voice is probably not the best example, but you could probably ask some of the content, creators that Frontier collabs with to just give you some generic voice lines and, use them if you want to, if you feel they're good enough for your game, for generated drivers and staff. Like, there's a lot of people who are willing to help Frontier out with this for basically nothing because they want the game to be good. And again, you just get run so far out the track on this. It's kind of insane. Well, Hauger's undercut is kind of paying off right now, but confidence is still not going up. Russ still carrying Alpine? Yeah. You could also add AI voices, yeah. Like, I don't think anyone would be terribly upset with Frontier if they did that. Of course, if someone is going to be like, oh, AI is taking our jobs, which is understandable. But if the choice is between not having those voices or, basically because they can't pay for them, I think it becomes a little bit of a different issue. I think we'll just have Behrman run a little bit of a harvest at the moment, and then we'll try and get past Norris. That could very well be Wyfloof. You write a short review of the console experience. People ask, I can send them to your review. That would actually be very nice to have, honestly. Yeah, they could also use their staff, but it seems like they're just not willing to do that, or the staff just does not want their voice tied to the game. But it's just one of those options that they have if they want it. So I confirmed Trump is in F1 25. I'm gonna make this. I can't even do a Trump voice, but basically I'm gonna make this team great again. What have you done to me? The fact that Aston is leading that right now is also kind of madness. Look at Bottas. He just pitted and he is 14 seconds off the lead. That is kind of madness. Only way to keep confidence up as the back market is to skip quali. That does make sense, yeah, Jonathan. Still waiting for the on-demand AI commentators for sports game and such to solve all issues. I think you would be getting a whole host of other issues if you added that. See if we can move a little bit forwards here. Build a little bit of confidence, but yeah, you can kind of see. We might need a little bit more DRS this year than last year, I'll be honest, because we're kind of getting outdone on the straights. So that is probably one of the things that we could invest in, make ourselves a little bit more competitive. Yeah, Rick is flying in that Aston. I selected sponsors with more engagement. Now I can't meet engagement with all the events available. Basically, Rambo, your marketability isn't high enough, and again, it's one of the reasons why I would recommend not picking engagement sponsor targets. They're difficult to meet, they give you debuffs, so if you can, just go for the upfront and raise targets, as it's a little bit easier to achieve, I feel. Damn, Bottas is pulling away. Wondering if we can do something cheeky now with a couple of soft stints. Say we pit now off the hards. Could we make this faster? Basically, yes. But do we have a good gap to slide into? No. We'd have to try and get ahead of Hauge if we wanted to try this out. So this is why we could order Hauge to straight up just slow down. the time difference is so high anyways that I think what we do here is that we pit Hauger, we still try the one-stopper with him. Or maybe we even switch him over, try and boost that confidence a little bit. But 2 more stops is going to add a lot of time, which is one of the problems. But again, I don't think it matters much at this point. We're going to have to take a little bit of a gamble here with the man to make this work anyways. And if we pit him and get him out of the way, then we can pit them and put him on 2 softs as well. It should be okay. Let's see if this actually works, because right now I am struggling. Rather than saying we, I'm the one that's struggling at the moment. And we can also attack at the end of their soft life to get those 2 seconds back. I have an error only fast voice pack. What? The Singapore hairpin. Singapore used to be absolutely mentally painful when you drove it in like F1, particularly with a controller. But I might be having a little bit of a surprise on that front also in the near future. We'll have to wait and see. It's not confirmed yet. Hey, Bearman, we need you to clear the car in front. And the car in front is Magnussen, so that's not going to be easy. But with a little bit of extra oomph, shouldn't be a problem. So we're going to beat Porsche out, so we just need to clear Stroll. And then we have free rain for days. Tauger on don't fight teammate. We could have done that, but the problem is the DRS train. And most likely that the car that was with Hauger would end up ahead of him. Which wouldn't necessarily be a good thing for our hopes. Because, again, you just lose so much time whenever you fight a car. That it just... It's very rarely worth it. That makes sense. Also using probably a little bit too much energy here to try and clear Stroll. Go on, put him on the grass. Just get by him. Yellow flag. Seems to not be anything serious. Or resolved immediately. I'm going to Singapore? No. When do I think I'll be able to stand my first win? Probably sometime this season, I'll be perfectly honest. Hello. So yeah, this is one of the problems that I've had for a couple of days now, where my microphone would just randomly decide to stop working. Like, it'll show like everything is working, but it's weird. That's the best way I can put it. And it's very annoying, as you might expect. But yeah, what I was saying was basically the True F4 Manager experience. Fly to every GP, bring your laptop, see if you can do better than your favorite team, and then say, "Look at me, I'm the TP now." But yeah, there is something. Yeah, that corner they fly, but there is something wrong with the microphone after the power cut. I probably need to disconnect everything and reconnect it, because I've had it issue too when I tried to record videos. And it's quite annoying when it just randomly cuts out for no discernible reason. Radio check, radio check. Yeah, basically I need that. Am I eating sushi or is it a bio break? Did I write sushi in the bio? I am confusion. I did not eat sushi today. It could be a cable issue, but like, it's just such a weird one. Because I never had this issue before the power outage did a number on my PC, so it's a very, very weird one for sure. Ah, you didn't know if I was eating. I was trying. I was neither. I was frantically fixing the microphone. But I understand the concern there. Batman might struggle to get into the points here potentially. It's kind of unfortunate, but it is just how it be sometimes. Which mic do I use? I currently have a beacon that was gifted to me. So I assume there could be something wrong with the internals there, but even then, I could bring back an older microphone if I can't get it fixed. So I'll sit down after the stream, mess around a little bit again. But yeah, it is frustrating to deal with that it just randomly gives up every now and again. It's not good. Let's put it like that. Evan comes out in 11th, and we had a slow pit stop. First of the stream. But yeah, 8 seconds to make up to Ocon, which should be doable, and we should be able to catch Poaching as well. And we might even get Norris. We're not getting Norris, he's a little bit too far up the road, but getting Poaching should be doable. Connor and Stroll owns Williams in this universe, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's it could potentially be a driver issue as well, so I'll be sitting down and trying to fix it afterwards. Patch is out for console, yes, J7. It's the same patch that PC has been running for since Monday. Okay, at this point we have basically done all of our moves, and we're just gonna allow time to kind of pass. 21.3 is not good enough to catch Norris. 23 is a little bit better. It's definitely going to allow us to catch Poaching and Ocon. And Hauge is 1.5 seconds slow, which is, again, probably a little bit due to the fact that he's fighting the Russell. 20.8, that's more like it. 20 blank. Can't get past with the RS if we're going to run a little bit of Harvest. But even then, as you can see, he's still Harvest 2. It's just that he will use less. Yeah, I think we run Harvest behind Ocon for this lap, get past, and then we get to chasing down the cars in front. 8 laps to go. We should be fine running attack 8 times 6, 48. It's a little bit too close. Let's save for one more lap before we go full attack. But yeah, we're limited by how much we can harvest, and we're still deploying a ton. So even a harvest day is not necessarily going to make us a lot quicker. I know the game is buggy at the moment, but I still believe it's a good game under Rubble. I agree with that. It does indeed seem like the fixes apply to all the state water. I still hate they're slowing down behind the car with DRS. Yeah. I agree with that. This is also when we're going to start doing a little bit more of the attacking. See if we can speed this up and catch up to, maybe not Bottas. Maybe none of them, to be fair. And yeah, how you're having a bit of a race here. Not really too much we can do about that, except trying to get 13 for extra money. The thing with the game release-wise is that development didn't work, basically, at release. The AI wasn't developing, which means that there is no challenge to this game. Because the AI will never outdevelop you, they don't do research. And basically, the second you get into your 3rd season, you can, no matter what strategy you use, kind of be dominant, as long as you did a little bit of research. And that's kind of one of the main issues, that the AI just can't give you a fight because they just are not coded correctly to do so. Like, the game in a playable state was fine, but from a mechanic standpoint, a lot of them just aren't working as intended. They do work for your team, but they don't work for the AI at all, which makes things a little bit weird. Let's put it like that. Yeah, we're actually falling off the cliff a little bit harsher than I would like, so let's slow things down a little bit. We might get Albon with Hauger, but yeah, we're definitely losing more tire than anticipated here. Should have waited 1 or 2 more laps. They done lost and quite dirty. I feel like Frontier as a whole has a balancing issue with this series, which makes sense. But yeah, they've added difficulties. They can add, scenario difficulties that alter the games in unpredictable ways to give more challenge to those that want it. They can make easier challenges to those who want that. Basically just allow us to make our own difficulties, if you will. But I guess that is even... the thing is, though, you don't really need those difficulties to be balanced. You just need to have those settings work. And then most players would actually be quite happy with that. So it's difficult for sure, yes, but nothing too terrible. Sainz wins here. We end up 9th, which is not great. Hauger down in 13th with a wrecked underfloor, which is even worse. Yeah, not a great start to the 2nd season here.
As always,
yeah, like, the game is visually very, very good. Performance-wise, is running good for me too. I agree. It's just the underlying mechanics with the AI. Okay, we are running 5th ahead of Mercedes still. Just a weird thing to say. So we've already improved from last year. And we are getting a lot of money every race, so we should be able to improve our facilities this year. Airman goes up to 82 rated. Weekly 95. Gonna have to manufacture a couple of these, I think. Just gonna double check if car 2 also has an underflow failure. Of course it does, so we're gonna need to actually rush a couple of these. And other than that, let's get a couple of other things made, like a side pod. And 2 more front wings. I think that's fine. I should keep tidies over until we get the new ones. Yeah, we'll take a look at the car in a second here once we go to Japan. We need to get those new underflows on to compare with the other teams. Team Hub level 4. Guess we also should start at this point to upgrade the race sim some more. Keep our drivers a little bit more competitive. Other than that, I think we're fine as we are. Refurbishing this is actually pretty cheap, so we should do that. Refurbishing this is also pretty cheap, but we don't need to refurbish the hospitality until the start of next year. That marketability boost for our sponsors. So everything is a-okay in that regard. Next up, we're going to do one final front wing design. And then we're going to be spending all of our remaining CFD now on getting research done, I guess. Let's go ahead and rush this, get it done as quick as possible. 6 engineers on it, and as I said, we're just going to do research once it opens up in April. Let's also go ahead and manufacture a couple of Red Wings, get that stock up and running. Has Alonso retired or is he in FA? Alonso, let's see here. Looks like he's a free agent, yes. Same as Paris. Olsen, Barson, Sargent, all of them free agents, so yeah. Someone could have picked up Alonso, someone could have picked up Paris, so yeah, I don't know what Haas is up to. They're doing some funky stuff, let's just put it like that. So, Batman keeps his great growth here. 3 points adaptability to make me sad, and well, he ended up getting 8 points this month. Which is not bad. Basically an overall, almost. Now, here's also something that's kind of interesting. This is practically a bug, where the first session of the month doesn't actually do anything. Which is kind of an hilarious thing, in a bad way. Like, the first session doesn't actually do anything for your pit crew. But there isn't really anything, like, it doesn't necessarily hamper you in any way, shape, or form. It's just a forced rest day, even if you kind of order your pit crew to do something else. Which is weird, I guess I could say. It's weird that they are forced to rest. Yeah, at this point, we're going to focus on getting that pit stop error down a little bit. It's been pretty high for a while. Getting it down would benefit us massively. So, yeah, I guess one more in here. Get the car building up a little bit as well. See, want to get that to 60 at least. But yeah, this looks good for this month. Get our pit stop times down a little, chance of mistake down. Car building maintained or a little bit up, which is acceptable. But yeah, as you can see, we're now well rested, so There is some fun stuff going on here, honestly, and for Hauger, he's unhappy with his car versus his teammate's car. Although they have, for the most part, been running the identical cars, which makes things a little bit weird. Hello, happy to catch you streaming again. How's it going? It's going well. Maybe. We'll have to see. It's going okay. Hello, Dark. That's maybe a mandatory holiday. You get one holiday, the first of every month. Spend it well. Hello, Ollie. There was a question about the sponsor plan, and we finally hit one. I don't know if the person that asked it is still here, but I'm gonna go over how the engagement works. So, if we get everything sorted here and we hit our engagement target, let's just get that set up real quick. With basically, the school event is acceptable. With basically everything set up here now. The engagement that we expect to get is 2.86 million out of 2.86, but if I click confirm here, it'll tell us that we get 2.18. And the reason for that is that our sponsor plan has mandatory targets, like this one, energy drink cameos. We have a couple of other ones too, if I'm not mistaken. And the thing is, the mandatory sum here is still a part of the engagement. So this here counts this number more than once, basically. Mandatory payouts pay out in their own way, and yet they're still calculated as part of the total engagement number, which means that if you have mandatory goals, which again pays out individually, if you have a couple of big ones like, you know, the test day, the fashion show, the wind tunnel hire, this number can seem like you're losing money. Like, I'm only getting 2.18 out of my 2.86. But the reality of the situation is the cap is actually 2.18. That is how much I can get from the engagement each month. And the rest is actually tied up in mandatory engagement that I'll be getting over the course of the season. So while it does seem very, very wrong, and I can understand that it does seem very, very wrong, it's basically just, again, the problem that the engagement doesn't separate mandatory activities payouts from just general activities payouts. It still keeps the number bundled up, but again, this screen kind of tells you the true maximum engagement you can reach each month, which is 2.18. And if you check at the end of the year with your sponsor overview, you'll see that you have probably reached very, very close to that maximum engagement number. So you're not really losing any engagement money, even though, again, it does definitely seem like you are. It's not actually reality. Hello, Sam. I'm doing good. I think most people here are, I hope. Still here, but I'm also working, so I won't be accommodating much. That's fine. Hopefully that was a decent enough explanation. Big number for a 1 million. It's the mandatory combined with the, the other engagement. Which sponsor plan do I think is better, one with more money up front, or one with more front or less money? Basically, the one that I feel is the sponsor plan I feel is best. It's one that gives you a bunch of upfront money and also gives you a bunch of race day money. Those are the two that I would like to maximize, because they come with no strings attached. You can generally make a very, very good car very easily this year. And as long as the AI is kind of, hampered in their development, you should have no problems reaching the race goal, which means that you'll be making a lot of money over the course of a year simply due to that. So, yeah, I think the best source of money is probably going to be just straight up race goal and upfront, and try and avoid engagement as it comes with debuffs. For Hauge here, his development is just high. It's not very high. Mentality is playing a part there. And we probably do need to consider giving him a new contract, because the contract salary debuff is hitting him hard. Okay, we still need to go one day forwards to get a proper overview here of the other cars. But cornering wise, we should be probably the best car out there by quite a margin. So yeah, we're the best cornering car, 17 top speed, 11th in DRS effectiveness, and our overall ranking is 13th. As you can imagine, it's quite a weird timeline we're in currently. And if we compare ourselves to the Red Bull, we actually have huge advantages in all three cornerings. We're a little bit behind in top speed, which again isn't, unsurprising. We're lacking in the tire preservation. But honestly, most of our stats are fairly, average and alright. If we compare ourselves to, say, Mercedes, we are pretty close in top speed and, DRS effectiveness. But they've definitely gone the tire preservation route for sure. So, kind of hard to say. And even though I say they're going the tire preservation route, it's just balanced. Again, it just makes things a little bit weird, if you will. We're supposed to be second, or basically the best teams around here. We'll have to see if we can actually make that happen.
Konnichiwa from the Suzuka circuit in Japan. The home of Honda.
Is the development actually fixed, by the way, the AI cars? They can now develop everything, but they're still kind of doing it inefficiently. They need 5 engineers on every project. If not, they won't do a project. So I say it has not been fixed. I'm back to 22 and the game looks so much worse.
Now it's time to see who...
I don't think necessarily the player improving too much is a bad thing, but I would like the AI to be more adaptable and kind of catching up, if possible. And, being a little bit more challenging in that sense. I think that would be nice. But I kind of understand it's kind of hard to probably set up. Yeah, if the AI would be a little bit more competitive, I would be a lot happier. Let's see, try something like this, maybe? See how we do it. Again, cars estimate to be first and second. Let's see if we can actually make that into a reality with our boys here. Would I say it's important to fix dirty air cornering? No. It is, without a doubt, the least important stat on your car. I really don't see why they didn't just use the F1 Manager 23 as a template. They basically tried to rework in this year's game how the AI develops, probably to kind of give us that wish we have to make them more competitive. But it also kind of backfired quite a bit. So there's something that went wrong, but we don't know what, if that makes sense. Basically, they tried to rework development for the AI, and they got stuck in a feedback loop, and they have been unable to fix it at the moment. Back, what did I miss? A terrible, terrible race in Australia. Very nice, Jake. See what we can do in terms of lap times, as Hauge is once again outcompeting the bear. That's pretty close. I'm wondering if the Red Bulls are going to end up being faster than us. I think so, just on merit of the driver. As that would make sense. No, Verstappen is 3/10 slower. Might be magically looking at a 1-2 here. So it's an option to instantly set worst part on the card for practice, and of doing it all individually. Yeah, I can see that. It's kind of why I've also switched my strategy to parts, unless I'm in a title fight, basically. Oh, science, you ruined our dream. To just keep on using the same parts until they turn basically orange. Just makes life a little bit easier, a bit less micromanagement. But I can't deny that switching parts is going to give you a slight edge, because you do have better performance doing so. Not by much, but it's F1. Everything matters. I watched a bear? No, but I've been tempted. It's been showing up in my YouTube shorts constantly. Thanks, Wolf. Appreciate that. How much is the performance loss from the parts in yellow? Generally a tenth or so. Tenth, maybe 2/10. It's what you'd see in 23. And a little bit of bigger loss once they turn orange, which is why switching parts is just so kind of powerful, because the AI will run damaged parts for quite a while. So if you always have fresh parts, you instantly have a 2 to 3/10 advantage over the AI, just purely due to switching parts. So it's one of those weird things that is, you know, annoying. That is an advantage that shouldn't really be one, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of hard to judge. Are you still supposed to put one engineer per research? Using one engineer per research is the most efficient way to do research. It's how you get the most out of your money. So I still do that, yes. The thing is, they already kind of do that. The way the Chief of Aero and Technical work is that their stats boost parts that they work on. So 100 overall Aero or Chief of or Technical Chief boosts your parts stats by about 5%. While an 80 overall will do 4%, 60 overall 3%, so on and so forth. So in theory, yes, they are bringing their knowledge with them. It's just that their stats are what influences the boost. So they already kind of do that in a roundabout way. And unless the team that you poached them from or took them from can replace someone at the same skill level, the next pass they make are going to lose some performance as a result. So again, it is already kind of happening already. What's my take on the patch for now? It's a band-aid. It doesn't fix issues, like, it doesn't deal with the issues at their core. So for now, it's just straight up a band-aid. I'm looking forward to at least 2-3 more patches. I think that is when we can say the game is, in a playable state where the AI can be a little bit more competitive. Which is unfortunate, but it's just how the situation actually is. And this is probably one of the worst qualities we've ever done. If we take manual control, might be able to squeeze out another run if this fails. Maybe. Maybe not, we'll see. It's gonna be close, I think. Go full attack. Get some temp into those tires. Point out of the final chickens. Now we'll see if you improve. Airman definitely needs to improve. What happens if they go to a team with less facilities? Yeah, and the staff boost isn't based on facilities, just based on their overall, their stats, so it doesn't actually have any effect. Okay, so Bearman is improving. Hauge is not. Well, that was a lie. He did actually improve. And now we just need to... Yeah, we're not making another run here, fortunately. I should take in manual control earlier. But that is one hell of a run for Bearman. Puts in 4/10 ahead of Leclerc. Yeah, we're not making another run. We need to go into the pits, we need to switch tires, and then we need to come back out. So that is it for our quali. So that is an improvement for Bearman we can be happy with. Hauge, kind of wish he improved a little bit more, but even then, it is fine. But yeah, if we'd taken manual control after that first run, we could have gotten them in quick enough that we could have done another flyer, both of our boys. Ferrari seems to sign terrible drivers. Whoever they picked up in particular. It's better to control the drivers well in quality or just let them do the thing. Like, if you look at Q2 here, he did better doing his own thing. How good that is. But in Q3, yeah, Bearman did better when we controlled them. So I think if you need to take control, you should do so to kind of get an extra run in. But there's nothing inherently super beneficial about taking manual control. The drivers are just too... What is this strategy? Yeah, we are not starting on Inters, my boy. You're actually insane. The AI starts... Oh no. Oh no. I have a feeling the AI might start on Inters, everyone. Oh, that would be actually kind of sad if they did. Okay, so... This is actually going to go into wet territory after 20 or so laps. I don't like this. It seems like the weather generator has already given up. Which would be a bad thing if it gives up before the race even begins. But yeah, we'll take a look at this once we get into the race itself. But we're going to have a wet race to make things even more interesting around here. Yeah, this could be fun. And about do the achievement where you have to beat Vettel's CDC record. What exactly was the achievement states particular? Let's see what we can do here. I've done multiple times to do a sim-only video for YouTube, as we think the AI is dumb and it will crash non-stop. The thing is, it will crash non-stop, you're not wrong. It crashes non-stop if your overall sub below 80, it seems. But if you can mentally boost your drivers above that, they very rarely crash, like 2-3 times a season. And not necessarily in a bad way either. Okay, we're gonna murder the ballast assist immediately. As Bearman probably has the worst start I've ever seen. And Hamilton. Look how they massacred my boy. They put him on Inters. On a dry track. He's already 10 seconds off the lead. Yeah, like, this is literally the Ferrari strategy. Dry track, Inters, let's go. Ferrari strategy department sends their regards, basically. You might want to save us some money, Chris, and rather than refurbish, just upgrade. How's he keeping up, though? By cooking his tires. Like, he's already down to 83%. By the time it starts raining, he will be down to 70, 65. By the time it gets into this, he's probably down to 50-ish and gonna need to pit anyway, so yeah. He is pushing. Probably more than he should at the moment. I'm gonna try and turn just the overtake aggression to low. And we'll work from there. Rain is arriving. It might be that we gamble on putting one car in the pits right now. It's gone up 30 in... Nah, we need one more lap. 1.5 minutes, it's gone up 45. So... Take us what? 23 seconds a bit? Is that it? Yeah, 23 seconds. It's going to bring it up to about 70 millimeters. Which would not be amazing, but it would be good enough that we could pit, say, Hauge first. Just so we don't congest the pit lane. That could be the play. This is just a good simulation they so accurately made Ferrari. Via checking. Yeah, I have played F1 games. I'm kind of one of those weirdos who enjoy F1 World a little bit. That's really dumb. Only a couple of seconds slower. Considering that he's running one of the best cars on the grid, he's 10 seconds behind Hulkenberg after 3 laps. He's running lap times that are 6 seconds slower than Hulkenberg at the moment. So yeah, those inters are getting shredded. Like, inters would probably do fine for a lap or two. But after that, they would be absolutely shredded and useless. It wouldn't be anything fast, don't get me wrong, but still. 6 or so seconds slower. Seems par for the course. Yeah, that's the thing. I think we pit Hauge here, just so we avoid a double stack, mainly. And I think by the time he comes out, maybe it'll be like 70, maybe 80. So it should still be fine. And we actually have a lot of cars pitting, so Behrman is actually going to avoid a lot of the pit congestion by the looks of it.
Copy.
Yeah, and congestion is being a little bit of a problem for Hauge at the moment.
And there's been a slow pit stop.
Albon with a slow stop. Okay, now the question is going to become, okay, 86, 87. Went up a little bit faster than I thought, so Behrman might actually lose out a little bit here. But we shall see. Now, because it is most likely going to go full west around lap 20, I am tempted to just go full on push here. I think we wait with that until we get close to lap 20. Behrman, Verstappen, where are you going to come out in relation to Piastri? Behrman's going to come up behind, but ahead of everyone else, and Hauge is looking good, but with a Red Bull right behind, let's put up that aggression a little bit. Get a little bit faster on those tires. So yeah, pitting Behrman first probably would have been the better play. Rain went up a little bit faster than I anticipated. And Sainz actually gets the overtake done here. See exactly what happened. Just sends it down the inside. Which is honestly good. What you expect from them. I think from Hauge here, if we go full attack, we might be able to recharge. And I think we'll harvest a little bit with Behrman, because we have a gap to Rick. But we're going to need to manage that gap quite well here, if you will. And already you can see that we lost 6/10 the second we started harvesting, so top up it is. And it also does seem the game starts running quite a bit poorer once rain gets in the picture. Have I ever tried F1 mods on a set of course? No, I have not. Yeah, what's up? Hope you're well. I'm good. I'm good. Am I gonna do a tutorial on how to upgrade cars? I already kind of did one, like a short one. But again, it's probably gonna be more in depth once we know more about what has effects and what doesn't. Stappen is already sniffing, but yeah, that's kind of the thing with the ERS this year. The second you just turn down slightly, you will get hunted down, and you can kind of see it here with Verstappen too. Just anytime you recharge, you end up losing so much time to the car in front. It's not even funny. You can of course check if they are actually running full attack. And judging by attempts, they kind of are 105 degrees, so they are running full attack, all of them. Which also explains why we're getting overtaken. They're running a more aggressive mode than we are. And that does also kind of give me the confidence here that it is going to go full wets by lap 20. This game worth purchasing? I'll probably wait for a couple more patches, Polly. Hello, I like your content. I'm broke. My drivers keep crashing and I'm in debt. Advice. Honestly, there's not really much you can do in that situation. You still need to keep your cars running. You need to meet the race goals in order to get out of debt for the most part, so... yeah, there isn't any, like, good advice I can give you here and all. It's just, you know, take manual control of races, put your drivers down to rarely defend and low at the start in order to lower the chance of crashing. That's really about it. It just makes us incredibly slow if we run top up. Like, we lose so much time compared to the cars ahead, it's kind of hilarious. Yeah, by lap 20 we should get full wets. I do also always forget talking to chat. You're not wrong, that BK. Formula Alpha 2024. Is that a game or a mod? I'll have a look at it after the stream. Looks slightly interesting. I forget quite often when I play and I'm not even talking to chat. Thank you for having my back, Parker. I appreciate that. A mod for Assetto Corsa? Okay. Yeah, at this point though, let's see if we can get Hauge past the Aston here. From now, it's also attempts are spiking through the roof, running behind him like this, so we're gonna try and deploy and just get by. Because running behind is a surefire way for us to cook and destroy what is left of our tires, and I would like to avoid that if possible. Again, anything over 105 degrees really is bad. Want to keep it below that, but yeah, he's just immediately coming back. But Hauge is able to keep it around the outside, so it's all good. At this rate, though, we might not actually survive till lap 20. Which is a concern. But it could be that we actually go wets here. That might not be as big of a concern as I think. So let's gamble. What do I think the ERS strategy should be? Top up seems to be a decent enough choice. You're still going to lose time to cars behind. If you have a lot of free air and no car behind you to fight you, going harvest can work, but you're going to lose time to a car in front. But other than that, there isn't really too much to say. Just have to try and make the best out of it. It does seem turning off the ballast is beneficial, but you're going to have to manually manage your top-ups that way. That is the negative. Can I get Mercedes party mode? That minute getting challenged by Verstappen. Just getting heated to the side there. Now this is an issue because now we are going to be running in higher temps behind the Red Bull. You can see it, we are pushing our tires far more than they are. Just a bad thing. And by the looks of it, we're not getting actually full wets until lap 22, something like that. So let's go ahead, turn down, manage a little bit more. Kind of what we have to do at this point. We can still push fuel. We can get that back in the full wet rather than the inters. But yeah, Red Bull quick. He has to be outdoing Norris in a big way here. Yeah, ERS is actually incredibly strong this year, so use it to pass for sure if you're stuck. Or if you need to, you know, make an undercut. If you can charge your ERS and get up to the car in front before you pit, and then use the undercut on your, you know, out lap, you're going to save 2-3 seconds compared to the car ahead, making it incredibly easy to undercut with this. With the ERS this year. Tsunoda has picked up a mechanical error. That's not good for him at his home race. My experiment with a top speed car was insane in wet conditions. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I would think that is how it works, Loof, and that's kind of the like philosophy that I have when I try to make cars in this game. I want the car that is best for the most common condition, which is, you know, the dries. We can make a car that works in the dry. You have a car that can win championships rather than a car that is, you know, made for the wet, if that makes sense. A bad feeling about the third season now after Q. Yeah, have you researched a little bit too much? Have you become a monster? A monster with no equal? Okay, it's being pressured by Rick at this moment, but even so, we've been able to keep confidence at a somewhat acceptable level. Yes, this is second season, Regan. It seems like that, Renz, yeah. ERS is incredibly powerful if you just go full deploy. But it also seems like it is a little bit harder this year to recharge ERS on most tracks, so it does kind of make up for itself, if you will. Yeah, 22 is what we need to stretch this to. We have definitely been a little bit too aggressive here with the strategy. For Hauger, unfortunately, we're going to have to gamble on just getting, I think, 6th at this point. And for Behrman, we're going to go for a podium. Yeah. Just waiting to qualify 3 seconds out of 3rd place. Yep. Do I still just throw all the CFD wind tunnel house into an underfloor? So the way that I do it is that I do CFD underfloor first, everything to that one, and then I'll do the next part. So the first CFD period is underfloor, second CFD period is front wing, third CFD period is rear wing, for instance, like that. But I don't use intense design. I just don't feel like it's worth the cost. So I'm just doing it normal or even rushed to get that extra benefit from the CFD on the second design. I think what we do now is just speed things along a little bit. Although you did give me kind of a heart attack there for a second. The estimation here from our pre-race strategy is that this isn't going to go into full wets. I kind of doubt that when I'm looking at this, but at the same time, This is kind of weird. A science experiment. And this is one of the annoying things with having a terrible weather center. You can't really calculate anything. You can't really trust the weather report in any way, shape, or form. And that will sometimes lead to you staying out when you shouldn't, hitting early when you shouldn't, things like that. And I think right now I'm being fooled into staying out longer than I should as we get a virtual safety car. Magnuson. Question now is, do we gamble? We save 4 seconds, which isn't a lot. But the question here now becomes, do we believe it's going to stay inters for this period? Yeah, acceleration is also mainly just the engine, which is, you know, hard to switch. I think we just wait a couple more laps. We see if it becomes rainy after this one. And if it does, then we just kind of stay out in the wets. If not, we're going to gamble. Hamilton, though, has made his way up back into 12th here, so he's not out of it completely. And he has actually gone on to new inters. But let's face it, that's the man that started on inters, so... yeah. Do we gamble? For Behrman, he'd come out behind Bottas. Same for Hauger, so... I don't know if it's actually worth it or not. Since no one else but Hamilton pulled the trigger, I'm even more concerned that it might not be worth it. Virtual safety car is ending. Guess we can push a little bit more fuel again after that. It is supposed to start pouring down in 4 minutes, so I think we just need to try and survive. I did run it a little bit too aggressively, and now I'm getting punished for it. Box. Well, we might box on this one.
Okay.
Crash this time. Hey, a Haas boy.
Let's have a look as we go
Or
into the
softs.
13th corner. Oh, that's a pretty big impact there.
Really, it's not showing up to use an FE1 and not having a development screen display them. Can you post that in the Discord and I'll have a look at it afterwards, Floof? Inters about 2 millimeters, pretty good to be honest. Yeah. The problem is just like, again, we don't know if this is going to go into full wets or not. General rule of thumb is if the blue line is over the orange line, it's going to be wets. But that rule isn't always being followed to the letter by the weather system. And again, that's one of those things that makes it really, really hard to estimate what we can expect here. And seeing that all of these guys are actually going onto new inters does give me the feeling that inter is going to be kind of what we will be seeing here, what we'll be going for. Right now, Behrman can actually pit and come out ahead of Ocon. So, do we throw away his race potentially here? I think we try, honestly. And Wets is incredibly slow on this track, to be fair, so... let's see what we can do. If it's just a short rainfall, it shouldn't, you know, put too much, have too much of an effect. And Hauge here, if we pit him, he's going to come out behind Bottas, but he's going to come out in fresh air at least. I think we just gamble on it at this point, again. And we'll take care of these inters rather than anything else. But yeah, we probably should pull the trigger quite a bit earlier. And again, it is just... it should be... it should be wet. Like, everything screams this is going to be wet territory. So it's just such a hard thing to judge at this point. Who is Dino? 8 seconds ahead of second team in 10 laps. I'm missing 2 bars. Yeah, that's again, that is the problem with the AI not doing research for regulation change. You had the same thing in 23, but not as bad and not this early. So it's just having no money. Look at their second driver. I'm still having a mental battle here of what is the best, going on another set of inters and then taking another pit stop if we're wrong, or just going all in. I think we already just kind of have chosen here. We're going to gamble on it. It's most likely going to be very, very wrong. And we did actually get it as the virtual safety car is ending, so that is bad for Bearman. That means he could get jumped by Ocon. So we'll have to see here, where exactly does the bear come out. Comes out now. And he did end up getting jumped because we mistimed the virtual ending. So double whammy here. And this could become a triple whammy if the weather does go really, really bad. Which honestly wouldn't surprise me if it did. But at least now we can at least see Bearman trying to clear some cars here in the wet. Maybe we'll have some free overtakes. Rick is in the pits now. He put on new inters. Okay, so at least some cars are doing the same that we are. Makes me feel less silly. Hauger is fighting Hamilton at the moment. To be fair, Hamilton isn't the worst car to be behind. Yeah, what we're going to want to do is, of course, manage these tires a little bit. Go attack towards the end. And if it does go full west, then, you know, I've shot myself in the leg. No way around that. What tire is Sainz going on? He's going on new inters as well. So yeah, I should have jumped on the virtual safety car immediately. That way we would have less cars to clear. But it is still looking somewhat promising. What is currently the best engine? From a durability standpoint, Mercedes, which is why I'm using it. Just from a pure power perspective, probably Red Bull. The Sainz have a moment. Yeah, he had a lockup.
Closer look. And they're bound to be struggling with the wet track. And there's the lockup. And hopefully there's not too much damage to the tires.
And again, I do like that. He didn't stop. He got back on the track, even with Car's car running right next to him. And we had a minor incident that didn't, you know, cause a murder. So it's good to see. What is Verstappen going on here? So yeah. The weather forecast lied to me. Again, rule of thumb that I've been using all these years is that when blue line above orange, full wet, but clearly I've been deceived. I've been bamboozled. Another virtual safety car. Sainz again, with the back marker, I think. Was that the other Haas? It is quite jittery in the rain. This is not good. Yeah. Bump, bump.
What was that?
So we have a full safety car now, which means that I would assume everyone that hasn't pitted yet is going to pit. It's going to be pretty bad for Hauger. But honestly, it's not necessarily a super bad thing for us. We can still make this work. I was laughing at Lewis, now he's in front of you. Yeah, he's clearly outdone me. The Inters was the best strategy to start off with. To be fair though, we are maintaining our tires. We should get him before the end. Bearman is back on podium. Hauger is getting a few cars here as they go through the pit lane. He's up into 6th. If Hamilton turns this around and wins it, I would be quite literally bamboozled, shell-shocked, tormented even. Most realistic F1 manager crash. 56 next team, 7 cars the same lap. I have to make a new career next match. Yeah, basically, if you don't want to have your save ruined, don't do any research in the big regulation season. Don't do any research in 25. Because even a single CFD project is going to put you miles ahead of the AI. That's kind of what we're probably going to be doing here over the course of this stream. We might end up simming a little bit of this season. We'll have to see. But I would like to at least get a couple of wins. Maybe play the races where we are more dominant at. Just to show you how silly you can make things going into that last year. Yeah, we definitely need to manage tires here. Even while we've been running light here, degradation is basically like normal. So we are definitely struggling degradation-wise. Perez, he's a free agent for the moment. I researched the part. Congratulations, you've now done more than the AI will. May you forever lap them. When you save a logo in one save, yes, you can apply it in every single save then, if you have it saved in one of your save slots. My car is the best halfway through Season 2. Road to PS3 World Championship is on my career. Yeah. Second season was pretty fine since I hit the cost cap and screwed myself a bit. So I fought to second in the championship, barely missing out the Piastri McLaren. But this is just, yeah. The thing is, the AI is, again, the game functionally, yeah, it works, but the AI does not. Which again is the biggest issue that we have with this game. Like, most of its stuff does work. The contracts, the contracts are currently a weird mess, but it's a new system. Mentality is a weird mess balance-wise, but that too is a new system. It's also, you know, impossible to know exactly what is needed to keep them happy. But again, it's a new system. It's going to take a little bit of time to figure out, and, you know, it's going to need a couple of balance patches. That's fine. Everyone understands that. But the AI not being competitive in the slightest, that's a much bigger issue, if you ask me. And quite a bit more serious one than any of the new problems that got added. Like, contracts, not being able to send counter offer is bad. Them stealing, you know, staff you've already signed, that's also kind of bad, but that's kind of how poaching works. But on the other hand, those have easy workarounds. Get them to agree to an immediate contract, and you kind of solve both of those issues. It's annoying, it's going to cost you more, but it is a workaround that is easy to do. But there is no real workaround for bad AI except go into the editor and make them more powerful, which of course comes with its own can of worms. A scouting bug one is, yeah, that one's terrible. That one needs to fix. That one isn't, you know, mentioned. That one doesn't go under my rant just now. That one needs an actual fix, and it needs it pretty quick. How to know a design part failed? Designs can't fail, Tears. If you mean a part in your car, you basically just need to manufacture a new one. Got to go get the TF, enjoy the stream, and remember to check the ERS. I will. I just turned it off. Thank you, BKK. Hope you and your GF have fun. I don't think it's possible to win every race of the season with one driver. You can do it with Max easily, yeah, or, you know, any other driver in season 3. By the looks of it, I'm pretty sure in season 3 you could make a 60 rated world champ in the current patch, and honestly, that might be another side quest. Lawson seems to be a quality merchant. Hey, we have another yellow flag. I was scared there because Behrman lost a position for a second. Yeah, at this point, we're just taking care of our tires, at least trying to take care of our tires compared to the cars around us. And if we can recharge the RS while doing so, we should be able to regain, or rather take some positions towards the end of this. And the longer the cars behind run behind us... Oh, that was Leclerc sailing. He's even hidden.
And that's where they slightly run off the track. Fighting with the
If you weren't an Alpine fan, I would miss you too. Damn. No mercy, eh? Absolutely no mercy. Well, hope you have fun. To be fair, I probably also have to go after this race. I'm going to be sitting down and editing something that has been requested for a while, which is basically a pit stop video. But this first pit stop video is going to just be focusing on not switching components. But even then, the tips and tricks in it is applicable to switching components too. So if you're struggling with the pit crew, you can take a look at that. It might help a little bit. Yeah, we're actually losing temp at this point. Let's tune them up a little bit. So yeah, pit crew is coming out today. Probably a couple of hours after the stream. Hello, Meto. What is that Haas lineup? It's the Haas bankrupt lineup. I think. I think basically it is because Haas is lacking financials. So they pick up the only two drivers they can, which is lower rated Formula 3 drivers. See you later, BK. Catch you in Discord. Didn't know Alpine had fans. You all really love just frying the Alpine fans, eh? I think this is maybe when we start to do a little bit of pushing. 15 laps to go. They're not gonna survive that. Maybe wait till 12 laps and then we go on the offensive. Need to also try and recharge Behrman if we want to try and get Piastri. Well, now we're gonna have to try and get Rick instead, so that's gonna be a little bit rougher. Maybe go aggressive here. Get started a little bit. Turn on full attack loss. 8 laps? 10 laps? Something like that. I think also now with Rick being in front, we might end up with a bunched up pack, which would not be necessarily a bad thing. But it's going to put more temp into our everything, really. I think Haugen might be able to get Hamilton without the deploy. Just taking advantage of tire delta. But Rick is pushing now. He's actually going fully for it. 12 laps to lap 22. We're starting lower than we were before. But there's also more water on the track, so I think it's going to work to just start pushing, be a little bit more aggressive. Ask Hauger here to get Hamilton, then start chasing down the other cars. And do the same here for Behrman, really. Time to take back that podium place. We got squished. Come on, we use so much energy. Better make it stick. Okay, never mind. Oh, that was actually a terrible, everything that just drove off the track. Unprovoked. Now we're in trouble. Now we actually need to do a little bit of recharging, but probably here Hauger's going to just fly by while doing so. Of course he is. Of course he is. What about Bearman? Are you going to do the same now? Do a little bit of deploy on the straight? That was a little bit better, and we're gonna still try and top up a little bit. Hamilton is getting back at us. This is probably gonna go all the way till the end. Is this what it feels like to be cyberbullied? You know what? I would actually be tempted to join in the Alpine bullying right now with everything going on, but I'll be kind to you, Floof. I've been playing Zelda lately because F1 manager is too easy. You're not wrong. I think at this point, though, we are going to need to turn Hauge down again. And maybe even the same for Bearman, because I don't think we're catching the top two cars. We just need to defend against Rick. Rick from Rick and Morty is coming for us. Rick has used more tire than us too, so as long as we manage tire, we'll be fine. Yeah, Piastri and Verstappen are unfortunately a little bit outside our reach, I dare say. I attended Coda with my fiance. All merch sold out except Haas and Alpine. You'd expect Haas to sell, maybe not well, but at least decently in the US of A. It is, after all, an American team, quote unquote, so that's a bit weird. Do I think this year's game is better than the last? Yes, I think once this game has had its patches, fixed the development, maybe had a couple of balance patches, it's going to be a lot better than last year's. Right now, though, I'd probably wait because the AI car development is really, really bad. So probably wait a patch or two. The driver stats go massively up if the mentality is high. Yes, mentality at its highest level is like a 10 overall buff. It's quite insane and probably does need balancing. At least a little bit of balancing. Gasly is literally overpowered. Yeah, he started at 84, but he actually has a very, very high growth rate this year, which means that he is actually quite competitive. The harvesting here is not really working out well for Hauge. But we should be able to get the position back. Maybe we'll do a little bit of harvest. Yeah, basically what harvest does isn't actually get you any more extra. So here's the thing. There's something that is probably quite more prominent this year than last year. But the way that harvest work is that you're limited to harvesting 2 megajoules a lap. So what harvest actually does is that it takes away 1 megajoule of deployment, because you can deploy your entire battery in a lap if you really, really want to, but generally your driver will deploy somewhere between 1.8 to 2.2 megajoules of battery to get as much pace of the car as it wants. If you run harvest, you cut that in half, meaning that you aren't really harvesting anymore, more than you would be allowed to on a regular lap. You can actually kind of see it at the end of this lap. You're just using less, and that is kind of a interesting point here. We're running neutral, and we already harvested our allowed amount. No more fish on our quota. And even if we run harvest day, we won't get more. We'll just use less. So that is why you are very, very slow this year if you end up using your ERS. The ERS is incredibly powerful this year, so as a result, not using it puts you at a pretty significant disadvantage, I'd say. Now, we are going to have to clear Rick sometime soon. We have a Sonoda with a potential fatal issue building, which is not good for us, so I think this is when we go back on the aggressive. I should just about make it till the end, so it should be fine. And Hauge does have not the best confidence, but enough that I'll put him up to medium overtaking. Question: can I replace Russell before the season starts in regular, not create a team? You can, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. Like, you're going to have to break his contract. There's nothing that stops you from doing it, but again, financially, it's not a good thing to do. You can't really use the creative team to switch him out and if you're planning to play Mercedes. Unfortunately. I reckon that people would play super realistic and only sim one day at a team and then play all races on one times. To be fair, I think it would be fun to have a multiplayer one times race with equal cars. Equal cars, equal drivers. See who has the best strategy. Who gets lucky and does not get screwed over by their pit crew. Just you watch, I'll make Alpine World Champions Season 1 with max durability, top speed only, and hiring low-rated drivers. I wish you luck on your adventure, Floof. Yeah, but you'll be seeing this. You'll be seeing most tracks that you're harvesting 2 megajoules, and whenever you're harvesting, you're losing up to what's 1.5 seconds worth of lap time. So generally, I just feel like they've overtuned the ERS because the ERS gain in lap time when you are deploying your full battery, I've had it be up towards 4 seconds. So yeah, I just feel like the ERS is ever so slightly overtuned, as I've said. But it is what it is. There's not really much you can do about it. It's again just a balancing issue. But it feels way more powerful than it has in any of the previous iterations. Could be that the previous iterations didn't really show the full power of ERS, of course, but it is incredibly powerful in this year's game. Honestly, Hauge, I'm going to take a risk here, put you on high overtake aggression. 3 laps to go. We need to get past this Aston. I had a small hope he'd send it up the inside. Like that. And yeah, just shove him off the track. That's the way we race around here. Max Verstappen School of Racing. The thing is though, Japan isn't really hard to harvest because again, if we look at this now when we're running neutral, we harvest is 20% of our allotted harvest in the first corner, harvest a couple more megajoules there, and again we're limited on how much we're allowed to harvest. And even while running neutral here, we are harvesting all that we're allowed to. We're halfway through the lap here. We've harvested 80% of what we can get. We still have a couple of hard braking corners where we'll harvest more. And again, there we go. We reached max harvest with basically a third of the lap to go. But this is how much you're allowed to harvest. So the only way you can, put more energy into your battery is straight up by using less. And that's what harvest is doing here. And basically using less energy means slower out of the corners, generally. Looks like we aren't actually going to get Norris here, so we'll just keep it neutral for now, so we have a little bit of energy to use. Get out of the corners. Yeah, we probably used a little bit too much with on other things than defending. Looks like Berman is at least sailing into podium, which is nice. And if it can hold off the Rick and Bottas train, we'll get 5th, which again is very, very acceptable. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, harvest is basically just use less energy, and it's costing you a lot of time.
Max Verstappen over the
Just get more downforce so you don't harvest. Yeah. We did at least hold on and get 5th place and a podium. Oh, yep. Can be happy with that. Sonoda survived even with this damage.
What a brilliant drive we just
Yeah, that makes sense, Rens. Again, it's just quite expensive in terms of pace to harvest here. Norris actually made it 10 plays to get to 4th. That's not bad by him. Verstappen made it 5, but we're on the podium, and that should make us a little bit more competitive. We're still in 5th. Probably gonna get second, maybe fight Red Bull a little bit by the end of this. But that's the first podium this year. I don't think we got any last year either, so first podium to save. Just not bad. What's my recommendation if you're starting third and fourth? Play strategies or just go with the quickest? I'd say go with the quickest unless it's a real chance of, like, you know, you don't know if it's going to be into the rain. Maybe split it then. You can, of course, use the faster strategy and just jumble the tire choice. Say that you are going to be using softs and mediums. Have one start on softs, have the other start on mediums, so they're on different but same strategies. That's something you can do. So there are some options you can do to make make your life a little bit easier in that regard. But yeah, I think that is going to be it for today. We are going to go through the major technical changes, though. Again, going to be making a video of this too at one point where we go through kind of how you deal with this. But generally, the easiest way to deal with this when the AI is actually competitive is straight up just making sure you research as much as possible. You are going to get 50 on everything and then 70 on one part, or 55 and 65. And again, the best way to do this is just to say that I've reached what the board wants. And in my case here, the board wants us to be 6th or above. And as long as you're on this, as long as you're above this, going into your research season, it's perfectly fine to spend everything on research. But again, that's going to make you incredibly quick, probably a little bit quicker than you'd like. And it's also going to have a pretty nasty effect on your save, as you will be basically lapping everyone from third season onwards. So do keep that too in mind. There's some negatives by going all in, if you will. I'm just going to quickly get everything sorted here so I actually have kind of components going into next next stream, because I do tend to forget that. Yeah, next time we're going to go into China. We did get a podium. Can probably do a little bit better here. And generally the car should be fairly competitive going forwards. Particularly in Monaco, but apparently we're not ranked the highest there, so that could be fun to see. Yeah, that is going to be it. I'm probably not going to be streaming tomorrow. Probably on Friday. Almost guaranteed on Friday. I'll be posting in Discord. I'll be also scheduling the stream hopefully tomorrow night. A little bit earlier than what I usually do, so you get a little bit more of a heads up. But yeah, I'll shout out what is happening with stream. Probably, as I said, not tomorrow. To try and build probably 2-3 videos backlog, as I might be busy this weekend. But on Friday for sure, I should have some time streaming. Thank you all very much for showing up. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.